Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello. Hello there, wonderful viewer. I am Baster Infinity. Welcome to this lowly filmed video. So, I've been sort of binge watching My Hero Academia all the way, and as a whole, I cried a lot, but my tears on some impactful moments subsided when I finished watching Bakugo have his last quote unquote, development at the end of season 3. And you know what? It was at that moment I realized that his development was bullcrap, thus sparking me into looking at some in-depth videos of Bakugo and many other videos that showcase flaws of the show. Some I agree with, others pretty much confused me. My brain decided to tick and I thought, hey, maybe I can fix this, the story. So let's do it. Okay. World building. I'm going to try not to spend too much time on this because fleshing out a world takes a lot, and this video is only about what main problems I have about the show. I will make sure that everyone has a quirk, and quirkless Deku is a phenomenon. It would be so bad that his mom requests that they did mention this to anyone, thus giving more setup for Deku Batman. What is Deku Batman? I noticed while watching a few My Hero Academia videos is that people claiming they wanted to see a Deku Batman. And I have to agree. That would have been pretty badass. Sure, he's whiny, and I can see why people are and would be annoyed by this, but for now, I wouldn't exactly change Deku's personality. Probably keep it as is. I think it adds to him-ish. However, it does make me question what Batman would be like if he whined instead of taking action without someone to tell him to. Next, I think my only main problem is he doesn't grow much, and also he constantly cries and doesn't actually develop. Deku doesn't have to be exactly like Batman, but some features feel exactly like they were taken from Batman and projected into Deku as a character. Next, I would probably fix is his mom. She's super unsupportive in the beginning, thus sparking more down sad fuel to Deku. In order to fix this, make her an overbearing parent, a parent who is happy that her child is quirkless so that she can keep him under her wing as long as possible. This would go well with season 2 where All Might begs Midoriya's mom for that permission and stuff. Next, nothing's really wrong with Midoriya meeting All Might. I think that scene was alright, still doesn't excuse why All Might let the villain go, but whatever. I'm fine with that. I don't see a problem with Midoriya saving Bakugo. However, the prompt isn't executed well. Seriously, how many people are willing to save their bully the moment they see them in trouble? How about before this scene we have a bit of push and pull from Deku? Maybe show that while he's on that roof, he shouts and lets out all the steam from being bullied by Bakugo. Steam that he's held because of everything he's been through. Then when he finally decides to go down to save his bully, it'll make it a bit more sense. Even though Bakugo was a bully, he still wanted to save him. Also, maybe add some Deku smarts here. Instead of making him run head on, make him look around for some things. Give him some equipment on the side. Also, maybe fix this scene. Why are heroes just standing around? Either take them out of the scene, or maybe just make sure the villain is a quirk stealer and the only person who can save Bakugo is Midoriya, the boy with no quirk. For the scene with All Might and Deku speaking to one another, I think it's fine. I emotionally cried and it was sweet. It really adds, but hey, I cry about everything, so whatever. Also, All Might is able to give Deku a recommendation to UA. Next chapters. Uraka, or Gravity Girl, I forgot her real name. I'm honestly fine with the love interest trope. My only complaint is that I've seen this character so much that I wish they would do something a little more to her. Maybe give her a different personality, but play off of it with the main character. Anyway, what we are given is something that seems like it sets her apart from the rest, but it really doesn't. Uraka's development is fine, but her character is very over the place. How about actually focusing on who she is as a character? So when the fight between her and Bakugo makes more sense, or at least makes you feel a bit more invested beyond the tears, keep a focus on what you want her to be. Is she shy or is she tough? I personally see no problem with seeing her tough. And before you ask, yes, I know she's a teenager and teens have mood swings, yada yada, but teens also have a somewhat personality. This isn't an excuse. I'll get to why I say this later on. Next, just like Ida and Todoroki, make sure that they get a bit more development. Todoroki versus Deku is fine, but Todoroki telling Deku his private life before the fight only makes sense if he knows that Deku doesn't have a quirk. So with that, he tells Deku that he won't let him stand in his way. I think this is better than having some sort of strange reason for All Might being involved with Deku, like guessing his heir to All Might, because that doesn't really add much to the story. What is gained in this scene setup, if you replace the reason for being called out, original, adds nothing. The new one makes more reason considering what we've seen at this most about what Todoroki is capable of and how he has been presented. Next, nothing's really wrong with Deku fighting off Todoroki with finger breaking. However, choreograph this scene a bit more and you can make it more emotional and still give the same spin of Todoroki versus Deku. Next, I'm fighting with Ida's thing. Again, flesh or flesh out more. His motivation is fine, and I understand that the author is trying to convey you don't know what you'll do when you're angry, but this still doesn't convey very well. Maybe have him share his thoughts with Deku and Uraka, cause they're friends. Next, Stain's fine, even though he died quicker than he was introduced, but whatever. And finally, the character that prompted me to make this video and open my mind to think a bit more as I watched. Bakugo. Freaking Bakugo. For me, I honestly didn't compare Bakugo. Rather, I wasn't really setting myself up to compare him to anyone. Actually, for me, My Hero Academia is an anime I was watching as I finally had time after ages to actually catch up on anime, and I chose this because I was so curious about the freaking hype. Therefore, I guess I judged him on my own merits. I guess what I was thinking was, everyone else has had a mini arc. I can't wait till they explain why Bakugo was such an asshole to Deku. But sad to say, I was disappointed. I said this before in an earlier video. That scene made me mad, because after the BS after Bakugo called out Deku to challenge him, it was into the fight. I thought it was pretty cool seeing how they moved with explosions and kicks. Pew pew, cool to look at, woo! But then Bakugo spilled his guts. I'm not going to say the exact words, but it was something along the lines of he was upset with himself for being kidnapped and thinks it's all his fault. All Might had to retire and be all for one. What's the actual fuck? Okay, I'll break down why this is an awful excuse. One, we all know that was not Bakugo's fault. And yes, I can understand that he could be upset with the fact that All Might lost his powers and that this was his way of dealing with it. However, that does not excuse that Bakugo had not developed. This scene is not written well enough to convey that emotion. I'll admit that the voice acting is great. However, it doesn't change the world building and facial expressions here. Honestly, they didn't really have to fight. I'll give my take here. So Bakugo calls out Deku. Only Bakugo isn't as mean-spirited. I'm not trying to get rid of his personality. However, making him a bit tame would make him a bit more relatable. Like maybe not have him openly try to kill Deku. Specifically for this fight, I'd actually try to focus on the emotional parts. Bakugo should actually say, "It's my fault, right?" Deku stares at Kachin, stops fighting, and flails himself to the ground. I'm the one when I got kidnapped, right? They then stare back at each other. Bakugo quickly recovers his angry expression. Don't look down on me, he attacks Deku. But Deku uses his Batman skills, holds him down, making sure that he dodges Bakugo's attacks, eventually wearing him out. Why? Why, Deku? Why are you the one who always looks down on me? Bakugo finally tires himself out, dropping to the ground, tears flailing out. Always giving out your hand, telling me how cool I am, looking at me like that. As Baku blathers on, it finally clicks in his head. Then finally Deku realizes something. He clenches his fist, walks up to Bakugo. With all his might, he strikes the boy across the face with a punch, and then takes his head to his headbutt him. Bakugo is so stunned that he's in slight pain, but is numb to it. He can only cry as he looks up at Deku while being on the ground. Deku climbs on top and glares at him. Wow, Kachin, I had no idea you were this stupid. Listen to me right now. Pay attention because I'm only going to say this once. I care about you. Ever since we were kids, ever since you fell off that bridge, I was worried. Because no matter how many quirks you have, no matter how powerful your quirk may be, you're still human, Kachan. You can still get hurt. You can still get sick. You can still feel pain. This is why I'm always going to chase after you. I'm always going to be concerned and worried. I shouldn't be after things you've done to me, but there, Bakugo blinks as he realizes that Deku is shaking while he holds his shoulders, indicating that even though Bakugo is lifeless, he's still paying attention. But I will, no matter what you say. I'll always be that damn caring nerd, because that's how I am, and I still want to be friends with you. Even if we are rivals, I will become the #1 hero. Finally, Deku breathes his last word, huffing and puffing. He slowly lets go of Bakugo's shoulders. Finally, he is now done. Bakugo has another PTSD flashback, and Deku and them as friends. Deku's words finally sink in. Is he serious? He questions. Then I would play the rest out like it was supposed to be. Only I'd have Bakugo get mad to the point where he pushes Deku away and jumps back, grabbing his head and growling. Finally, the fight could continue, and you could still have All Might come and they talk it out just like they did at the end of the episode. Or maybe flesh the part out a bit more as Bakugo tries to reflect on Deku's words. And there, just as a small bit of top touch-ups, you have a better written story in My Hero Academia. Anyway, tell me what you think. Am I wrong? Do you agree with me? Anything you have to offer. I know my story isn't perfect and probably ruins it. I honestly have no idea, so please share your critique. Thanks for listening. Have a fabulous day.